Hi, thank you for choosing Venga for your office's communication service. We are excited to help you learn about everything Venga has to offer. This video will cover the administrative side of Venga. By this point, you should have watched the Venga the Basics and Venga Advanced videos and should have a firm grasp on how Venga works. In this video, we'll add and remove buttons, change button colors and sounds, relabel buttons, change the position of buttons, select message icons, change the layout of Venga, and take a look at how we can push those changes out to all or some Venga workstations. Before we can make any meaningful changes to Venga, we have to enter configuration mode. Now, configuration mode is like the admin mode of Venga, and you'll have to be in configuration mode before you can make any major changes. There are two ways to enter configuration mode. The first is to go to the Venga menu, Configuration, and then click on Enter Configuration Mode. The second is to right-click on any user button and click on Enter Configuration Mode. The default password for configuration mode is Venga5. That's VENGA and the number 5 with no spaces and all lowercase. Now that we are in configuration mode, the first thing we will take a look at is changing a staff member's user button color. We'll do that by right-clicking on the staff members button, choosing properties, and then color. This is the staff color selector window. You'll notice that we have a few different tabs to help you visualize different colors and color schemes. To the right, you can see an example of the color you have chosen. You might also choose a button decoration. A good use of these decorations would be to show what a person's job is in your office. For example, if you were a dental office, all doctors might have the tooth decoration and all hygienists might have the dental hygiene decoration. Finally, if you prefer, you can enter RGB values here to set your own custom colors. Below the color button, you'll find the sound button. When you click on it, this is where you can choose a user's paging sound. You can choose from the available options or even upload your own sounds. The label menu item is where you will go to change the label or name on a user button. It's important to note that this is not where you add a new user, but rather just where you might change a name. To change a label, just right-click on the name that you would like to change, choose Properties and then click on Label, and then type the new name and hit Enter. It's that simple. Using the font menu item, you can choose fonts and font sizes for your user buttons. You might use this for aesthetic reasons, as a second line of differentiation, or for readability reasons, such as to increase the size of the text for a visually impaired staff member. Now, please note, you can't change the font sizes due to limitations on the button size. The Zones option will bring up the Zone Editor screen. Zones are a way to allow users to receive messages and hear paging sounds in the room where they might be working, and to prevent those messages and paging sounds from showing up in the rooms where they are not working. It is important to remember that zones are not group-based, but rather are customized to each individual. So if you are using the zone system, you will need to set up a zone for each user. This is the Zones menu. At the top is a slider. If you choose the block option, it will block the rooms that you choose from receiving messages and hearing pages. If you choose the allow option, it will allow the user to receive messages and hear pages in the rooms that you choose. It is important to note that a user will always receive communications at stations where they have signed into Venga with their own username, regardless of whether the station is chosen in the zone editor. The final button on the Properties menu is the phone number entry option. This is where you will enter the cellular phone number of users with whom you would like to send text messages to and from Venga. After you enter a phone number, you'll notice a small dot on the side of the user's button to indicate texting availability. Some offices have users who would never need to be paged. This is where Venga's Hide a Button feature is useful. To hide a button, enter configuration mode if you are not already. Right-click on the user button that you would like to hide and click Hide a Button. To unhide a button, go to the Venga menu at the top left, choose Configuration, click Unhide Buttons, click on the button that you would like to unhide, then click OK. Let's take a look at the configuration menu found under the top left dropdown, which is known as the Venga menu. You'll need to be in configuration mode to edit any settings in this menu. At the top of the configuration menu is My Console and Behavior Settings. These are workstation-specific settings to help you customize the look and feel of the Venga console on an individual workstation. Let's customize a Venga console. At the top left, you can choose the orientation of your console. Perhaps you'd prefer the console be in a horizontal layout, or you can set it back to the default vertical orientation. The default number of columns is 3, and the default number of rows is 4. You can edit the number of columns when in a vertical orientation, or the number of rows in a horizontal orientation. For example, let's say we prefer a 4-column orientation. All we need to do is set the number of columns to 4, click OK, and the console will reconfigure itself into 4 columns. Now you can lock Venga to the edge of your screen using the Edge Lock feature. If the Venga console is set to a vertical orientation, you can lock it to the left or right side. If the Venga console is set to a horizontal orientation, you can lock it to the top. When Edge Lock is turned on, other windows will not resize or place themselves behind the console, and it will always remain visible on screen. The console behavior section allows you to turn on and off settings that are customizable to your office. You can make sure the console window is always on top, allow or disallow the console window to be brought to the front when a page comes through, display the presence indicator on each staff button to indicate whether the staff member has been active on their computer in the last 7 minutes, use V-Notes to display pages, which will bring up a pop-up on screen in addition to the more typical page appearance on the console, have Venga auto-hide the console after a certain number of seconds, and allow multiple console instances, which will allow you to have more than one staff member to be signed into Venga on the same computer. Below those settings, you can change the length of time for the console snooze button, or change the size of the Venga menu text. Under the sound setting, you can change sounds to be the standard paging sounds, spoken pages, which will announce the name of the person being paged as well as the room they are to go to, or you can just choose to mute all sounds. Finally, you can choose how often pages should resound. As we said previously, changes made in the My Console and Behavior Settings menu are workstation specific. If you create a configuration that you would like to send to other workstations or your entire office, you can do that from the Push My Settings screen found here. Choose the workstations that you would like to send the configuration to, or choose All Stations and then click Push. The other workstations will almost instantly receive the new configuration, along with a pop-up that says New Configuration Files Received. You can also achieve a similar result by importing the settings of another Office workstation to your workstation, like this. If you were to accidentally change your configuration and are not sure what it looked like previously, you can revert your settings. Just choose Revert My Settings and choose a time that you would like to restore the configuration from. It is important to note that none of these changes can be made without the configuration password. However, if you would prefer to not allow the changes to be pushed to a workstation, even if the configuration mode password has been entered, you can turn on Lock My Settings. You can select message icons here. Just click the radio button to the left of the icon you choose, type what you would like the button to indicate, and if you would like, add a timer, which will prevent the page from sounding until the time entered has elapsed. If you have hidden a button, you can unhide it here. Just click on the button that you'd like to unhide and then click OK. The System Setup screen allows you to edit the names of staff members, the rooms, and the messaging icons. That's it! Congratulations on completing the Venga administrative training. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at any time by calling us at 888-724-4531 and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you for taking the time to view this video and happy paging!